Hello and welcome to Hybiz TV. Film and TV serial production can now resume based on standard operating procedures. The SOPs ensures adequate distancing at shoot locations and other workplaces and contains measures including proper sanitization, crowd management and provision for protective equipment. Guiding principles and SOP on preventive measures for media production to contain spread of COVID-19. Given the current COVID-19 outbreak in India, it is important that various stakeholders involved in the activities of media production take suitable measures to restrict transmission of the virus while conducting their operations and activities. No media production activity shall be allowed in containment zones. Further, states and union territories may consider proposing additional measures as per their field assessment. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has the following guiding principles. Non-essential activities shall not be allowed in containment zones for COVID-19. All employees who are at higher risk, that is elder employees, pregnant employees, employees who have underlying medical conditions to take extra precautions. They should preferably not be exposed to any frontline work requiring direct contact with the public. Use of face covers or masks at all public and workplaces to be made mandatory. Practice frequent hand washing with soap even when hands are not visibly dirty. Use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers can be made wherever feasible. Provisions for hand sanitization should be made available at entry points and in work areas. Spitting shall be strictly prohibited. Respiratory etiquettes to be strictly followed. This involves strict practice of covering one's mouth and nose while coughing, sneezing with a tissue or handkerchief, flexed elbow and disposing of used tissues properly. Installation and use of Arogya Setu app shall be advised to all. Thermal screening of visitors or staff is to be carried out at entry points and only asymptomatic individuals shall be allowed to enter the premises. Physical distancing of at least 6 feet to be followed as far as feasible at all locations at all times while sitting, standing or in queues. Proper crowd management in the parking lots and outside the premises duly following social distancing norms shall be ensured. Specific markings may be made with sufficient distance to manage the queue and ensure social distancing in the premises. Provisions must be made for display of posters or standees or AV media on preventive measures about COVID-19 prominently outside and inside of the venues. Seating arrangement, if any, to be made in such a way that adequate social distancing is maintained. No contact transaction should be preferred by using online bookings, use of e-wallets, QR code scanners if feasible. Number of people in the elevator shall be restricted, duly maintaining social distancing norms. Frequent sanitization of the entire workplace, common facilities and all points which come into human contact, example handles, railings, etc. shall be ensured. Disinfection of the premises to be taken up if the person is found positive. Self-monitoring of health by all and reporting any illness at the earliest. For air conditioning or ventilation, the guidelines of Central Public Works Department shall be followed, which emphasizes that the temperature setting of all air conditioning devices should be in the range of 24 to 30 degrees Celsius. Free circulation of air to be avoided to the extent possible. Intake of fresh air should be as much as possible and cross ventilation should be adequate. Suitable provisions may be made for temporary isolation of any suspect that may get reported. SOPs related to media production. In addition to the guiding principles issued by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the following guidelines shall also be adhered to for media production. Physical distancing, designated entry and exit, sanitization, human resource related measures. Face cover or masks are mandatory for cast and crew except for actors in front of the camera. Sharing of costumes, hair wigs, makeup items, equipment, etc. should be kept at a minimum. Makeup artists and hairstylists shall use relevant PPE kits. Artists should be encouraged to do their hair styling and makeup remotely with the help of professionals. Persons handling or working with common or shared equipment shall wear disposable gloves. Effort should be made to encourage wearing of gloves among other members of the cast and crew as well. Lapel mics may be avoided and shall never be shared. Direct physical contact with the diaphragm of other mics shall be avoided. Effort shall be made to minimize the use of props. Sanitization of props shall be done before and after use. A designated supervisor shall be nominated from among the cast and the crew. He shall keep the record of the zone, whether it is red, orange or green, where the workplace exists. The supervisor will ensure that all concerned have installed and updated Arogya Setu app on their mobiles. There shall be monitoring the contacts between various personnel, observance of precautions and sanitation protocols. A record of the medical history, travel history and a check on health of the cast and crew shall be maintained. Identify hospitals, clinics or testing facilities in the nearby areas which are authorized to treat and or test suspect COVID-19 cases. He shall contact the nearest health facility in case of health contingencies such as any person developing symptoms of COVID-19. Earmark quarantine areas for isolating employees showing symptoms of COVID-19 till they are safely moved to medical facilities. Support the health authorities for contact tracing in case of contingencies. COVID-19 related stigmatization or unruly behavior shall be dealt with strictly in coordination with the local authorities. Travel related guidelines and SOPs issued by the Ministry of Health Affairs, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Railways, state governments shall be adhered to strictly. Suitable provisions may be made for temporary isolation of any suspect case that may get reported. Latest guidelines for running of air circulation, air cooling and air conditioning equipment during COVID-19 as issued by the Central Public Works Department shall be followed. The national directives for COVID-19 management and the relevant guidelines issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, state governments, etc. shall be strictly compiled with during all activities and operations. Thank you for watching.